Alright guys, welcome back to Brianinja another video. Today we have another American Ninja Warrior review. We're reviewing season 17 episode 10. We're into double digits now. But I'm sorry for two things. First of all, I'm sorry I'm so late. I did not want to be so late with this, but I started watching it last week, like last Wednesday. So 2 days after it aired. But then my grandma started watching it with me and she went to bed. So I was gonna finish it, but I felt bad, so I just saved it for this week. So I watched the end with her this week. So that's kind of why I'm delayed, and also just because I wasn't very motivated to do it, honestly. I try to put the brightness so it looks decent because I look green in the face. But yeah, so I tried to do that. Too much. Okay. No. I feel like I'm doing some little makeup tutorial, but I just want to not look too green. But yeah, so I was gonna watch it last week, but I stayed it first week because my grandma ends because I wasn't too motivated to watch it. So here we are this week. We're finally to the review. And the second thing I'm sorry for is that you're kind of crooked. I know, like my camera's crooked. But that's because I'm using like a Flanagan's cup to prop it up on my steering wheel to have the camera there. My old phone was big enough to like be propped up on the steering wheel because I had a bigger phone, but I dropped it, so now it's a smaller one, and I have to use like a cup to prop it up. So that's why my camera quality in the car has gotten worse because I'm just propping it up on a cup, which I think is still better than me holding my arm out like this because that was weird. So I just resorted to this cup thing, but I know it's kind of crooked maybe. Maybe you can't even tell, and I'm just talking about something that you can't even tell, but I don't know. But I just wanted to explain that because I know it's kind of like weird, if you know what I mean. If you don't, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about. But anyway, we're into the episode here. I'm talking about everything but American Ninja Warrior right now, so let's get into the actual review now. So this was the first racing episode of the season. It's the Vegas finals, or the whole thing's in Vegas, so it's kind of the same thing. But this is the official finals, which is also in Vegas. And it's a side-by-side racing courses. There's two versions of the course, which they both show in this episode, which is kind of weird, which I'll get into later. But there's two versions of the race course that are similar, but have some differences. And there's, I don't know how many groups, but I guess there's probably 15 groups, because I'm trying to think. There's 60 people that qualified, I believe, because there's 3 finals and each had 20 people. So it's probably 15 groups, because each group has 4 people. But I can't remember off the top of my head, but I guess that makes sense. But either way, the groups are 4 people. It's the 2 highest seeds and 2 lowest seeds. Like, for example, they start off with the first and second fastest and the 2 slowest. And the next seed would be like the 3rd and 4th and the 3rd and 4th slowest. So you keep going like that till it meets in the middle, which is a good way to seed it. It makes sense. It's based on the semifinals times. So those times determine your placement here. So basically, if you go faster, you get seeded against... But you also get seeded against someone faster, because you get, like... For example, if you're second fastest, you'll still get seeded against the first fastest. I think that's how they did it, which is kind of weird. But I guess it gives you two people like easier to defeat as well, because like you got 1 faster but 2 slower. I don't know, but they seeded it in a way that is based on semifinals, and that way it's like the faster you go in semifinals, the better you'll do here, I guess is the idea. But like I said, I feel like that could be kind of inconsistent because there's also a really fast person in your seed. In the middle, it's kind of just more like, say, the 29th, 30th, 31st, and 32nd, like the median group. That's kind of like they're all similar. But this the first few groups have some pretty big extremes because it's like the fastest and slowest right there and there. So yeah, the seeding is kind of interesting, but that's something to note. I don't exactly know how it works honestly, but I'm assuming it's like the first and second fastest and first and second slowest, because that makes sense. But yeah, I'm going at like a marathon pace right now, or like a sprint pace right now. But that's basically how it goes. And also, what am I trying to say? Well, the 2 problems I have with this thing, because like I usually feel, I was not looking forward to this racing because I feel like it's against American Ninja Warrior to race. Like, it's against the spirit of American Ninja Warrior to have the racing. But kind of like usual, I did not mind as much as I thought, which usually happens for me when I'm not liking something. Like, I'm like, oh, it's gonna suck so much. But then I end up not hating it too much, because it's just like, it's not as bad as I expected, even though it's still bad. So if I set my expectations low enough, I don't mind it, which happened this time. So I didn't hate the episode despite my reservations about it. And the same thing happens when I'm really looking forward to something, then I'll be kind of disappointed when it's not that good. So I always have my extreme view on what I'm looking forward to something or dreading something, and it's always more in the middle. Kind of like the seating, it's kind of like that in a way. But yeah, so because I was so negative about it in advance, I didn't mind the episode itself because it was bad, but not that bad. So there's a lesson in there somewhere, I guess. But the main 2 problems I have with the racing format is, one, it's very hard to keep track of. Like, there's just so much going on and so many different races. Each heat, there's 3 races per each group, because each person races the other 3. So that's 6 races total and 3 races per group, which is like a lot to keep track of just as a viewer, and they're skipping between groups and stuff, which kind of makes sense to keep it more engaging, but it's also hard to keep track of when they switch between groups. So it's kind of like a trade-off there in terms of like engagement versus understandability, or versus ability to follow the show. Because, you know, they kind of give you updates on like, oh, this person moved on, this person didn't, which makes it easier to understand, but also makes it kind of just like, where are we, where are we at right now? Because there's so many different groups going at once and switching between courses and stuff. So I'm very like disoriented by that, just in the sense of like everything happening at once in a way. And then there's also the thing that the two people in each group with the highest scores, like the highest number of wins, move on. And then the tiebreaker for that is the fastest clear time. I don't know what happens if people if like no one clears the course in that group, which is unlikely, but it could happen. But I guess it would just be the farthest into the course, kind of like the actual qualifying of finals, like the farthest to fastest, I guess, is the principle. So they start off with clear times, whichever clear time is faster is like the tiebreaker, or like if you obviously if you win the individual heat, you win. But if you go faster than others in like the fastest time, the person with the fastest time throughout the three races would move on before the slower clear time, if there's ties, which there definitely could be a lot of ties because there's only 3 races. So there's a lot of people, there's like 2 and 1, like they have 2 wins and 1 loss. So that happens a lot. So time will be a tiebreaker there. And so the 2 out of the 4 that have the best scores and time is a tiebreaker, the top 2 move on. And then there's also a third place, like a fastest third place wild card type of thing, where the fastest third place finisher on each course moves on. I'm glad they specified each course because the courses are different, so it'd be unfair. It'd be uneven playing ground if some people moved on the first course, which I think is faster than the second course. So I'm glad they differentiated the courses to make sure it's fair. I guess they have to based on game show laws, otherwise they'd be breaking all the fairness stuff, because I know they're very strict on game shows with like making sure everything is fair and consistent for everyone. So I'm glad they did that nonetheless though. And yeah, so that's basically what I want to say about the races before we get into the course. So the first course is this. Let me turn on this light. I always have to do this because I don't like that. But this is my paper here, and my paper is a big one this time. It's transparent. This is something else in the back, but I wrote my notes here. So either way, it's hard to read, but we're gonna start. So the course is the shrinking steps first, which is a classic starting obstacle. I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind saying new just because we have nothing new this season, but I'm not surprised either. So shrinking steps, which is the closest thing to a balance obstacle in this course. There's no balance obstacle in this one, which isn't horrible, but I feel like they could have had one. But at the same time, I don't mind them like breaking tradition for this format. I feel like they could have had a couple balance obstacles to break tradition because it's already all upper body basically. So why not have like 2 balance obstacles to go the other way and break tradition? Because like, I don't think every course needs to have the exact same format, but I feel like having a balance obstacle or some kind of agility or lower body thing is good, just to contrast with the upper body stuff. So I feel like they could have done that, but I'm not like, I like that lane bear. I'm not like too upset about how they did it, but it's I think in the future they could have more lower body, but that never happens on Ninja, I know. So it's the shrinking steps, which are fine. Then the swinging frames, which is usually after a salmon ladder in semifinals. This time it's a standalone obstacle. There's 2 frames like this going across like this, and there's one perpendicular one at the end that's like you just swing on like a trapeze bar. But the first 2 are like lengthwise that you have to go across them, shimmy across them. You can link the jumps if you want. You can take a couple swings. A lot of people reach for it. A lot of people do like one jump, go through. So basically, I like this obstacle because I feel like it's a good use of the race format and like the kind of committing to those shays and swing back, like you can take risks or not. So I kind of like that. Then they have the pole grasper, which is a kind of classic racing obstacle, I feel like. But it's a bunch of poles that they have to go on, and they have to go across them. And it's a bunch of vertical poles. You can use your hands and feet. You just have to go across them. I don't mind it. I think it's good. So that makes sense. Then they have the salmon ladder, which is kind of interesting for like in my mind, like qualifying course. Just because I say qualifying course because it feels like a qualifying course because it's 6 obstacles, but they did put a salmon ladder, so I don't mind that. And it's good to have something up like kind of classic with the season. Although we already had the salmon ladder anyway, I kind of want to say a cliffhanger because we haven't had a cliffhanger type of thing yet, at least like in its original format. So I think we could have had a cliffhanger, but I don't mind the salmon ladder either. It's an old reliable obstacle, and if you're going fast, you might make some mistakes on it, and people skip rungs and stuff. So I think it works for the racing format as well. So I don't mind that. So that's 4th. Then it goes straight into floating monkey bars, which is a pretty tough one. I kind of imagine when they did racing, usually they make the races like easier obstacles so people don't fall as much, but they just clear the course and they go for speed. But on this course, they have a couple of tough obstacles, specifically the 5th and 6th obstacles. So I don't mind that because I feel like it's good to have some legitimately tough obstacles even in a race course. So the floating monkey bars definitely fill that role. So I like it. I'm glad it's there. And it's easy to make mistakes. You have to be very precise on the cradles. And if you miss one, you have to swing back and go, you either lose time or just lose your grip and fall. So either way, I think that's good for racing. And 6th up is a piston plunge, which is, I believe, 4 discs on like a little hinge that go down as you go. So you have to go on one, then transfer to the next, which is kind of up to your right. You have to grab up to the right, go across them. And then you have to shade to this little like half wheel. It's like this wheel with two sides are on, 2 sides are cut off. And you have to grab the part on either side that's there, and then the shade to the end. and the fastest time on this course wins. That's the course. I think it's a good course overall. Like I like that it's still difficult despite being a racing course, because I feel like a racing course needs to still be like challenging in its own right, even if it's just like a standalone course that should be challenging. Because when it's just like a bunch of easy stuff, it kind of makes it feel, well, to me, because I don't really like racing, I like to have a tougher course, and if it's too easy, I feel like it's kind of redundant. So I'm glad that they kept some tough stuff on there, specifically the last 2 obstacles. So yeah, I don't mind that. For what it is, like I said, like I don't love racing, but for what it was, I didn't mind it. That's kind of my, I guess if it was a Spark Notes page, that would be the note about my opinion. I didn't like it, but I didn't mind it as much as I thought. But yeah, we're 10 minutes into the video already. Oh boy, it's gonna be great. So first race, we're finally getting into the first race here. It was RJ Roman versus Taylor Green. I kind of had a feeling when they started with this one that Taylor would win, just to kind of have like a, I don't want to say surprise, because Taylor Green is really good, but I was kind of expecting the upset of Taylor winning, I guess. Even though they're both very good, you know, RJ Rowan just by like age, and you know, you would say like, oh, the male would probably be faster, just because that, you know, typically biologically is the case. So I was kind of expecting an upset, and I was right, because RJ Rowan fell in the floating monkey bars. He had a good effort, but he missed the floating monkey bar transition, and Taylor Green cleared. So I'm really happy for Taylor Green. She had a great run. She's had a great season so far. Like I've known of her name for a while, but like she's coming out of the gate crazy this season, and she's doing great. So I'm very happy for her, and this is another win for her resume. So good job to Taylor. I'm sad for RJ because he's one of my, I don't want to say friend, but I know him very well, and he's very nice. And I trained with him at Jump Twist Ninja, the gym. Well, not with him, but I've done some competitions, and he's cheered me on. I don't know about training with him, but yeah, he's very cool. He's very nice. He's very down to earth, and I wish he won it, but it happens to the best of us. So it happens to RJ, and that was the first race. He still has 2 more to go. They might not go that well, spoiler alert, but in the future he'll run again in this review, I guess. Then Naxa Garamore versus Janique Levette, and this was another upset. And I'm not being sexist, but like, you know, just based on like the speed that you expect, this was another upset. And Naxa Garamore has like the 90 obstacles clear streak, I believe, which I debated in the past video because stage 4 is an obstacle that he failed. But by the show's definition, he has a 90 obstacle clear streak apparently. And unfortunately, he broke his streak on the second obstacle because he fell in the swinging frames and gave Janique an easy win. So Janique made it past the second obstacle, she got a point. That's kind of the wild card of racing, is the fact that like you could technically just clear the first obstacle and get a win right there if your opponent messes up. So that's one thing I feel like is kind of weird, is the fact that you have very uneven. It's fair because it's like random in a way what happens, but also it's kind of weird to me that like someone could clear the course and not move on, but someone could clear the first obstacle and move on just because their opponent failed the first obstacle. So it's a very big wild card. And Janique Levette's a very good competitor, so she could clear the course anyway. But like she got an easy win here, so I don't mind it. But for Ninja, I think it's kind of weird to have that like randomness element. But that's kind of another thing about racing. But yeah. Also, did I say this already? My main 2 things about racing are, one, it's hard to follow, and the second thing that I never got to is the fact that you kind of have to root against your competitor in a sense, which I think is against the spirit of Ninja, because Ninja's kind of all about, or not all about, but a lot about like cheering people on and kind of being you know, cheering for everyone and kind of everyone against the course rather than person against person, which I know Team Ninja Warrior kind of ended that when they started doing the side-by-side racing like 10 years ago. But it's always been on the main show, that element. And of course the main show also has like the leaderboard and stuff that you have to get top 30 or top 15, so that kind of has an element of competitiveness. And then obviously stage 4 has had some drama in the past with races and stuff. So I'm not saying there's never been competition before, but I feel like this side-by-side competition like really forces it to be like rooting against your competitor, even if you're actively supporting them. Like at the same time, you kind of want them to fail so you win. You know, everyone has that in the back of their head, like I want to do better than another person that I'm going directly against. So you know, that's kind of a weird dynamic for Ninja. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I mean actually I kind of am, but I don't hate it. But I feel like for Ninja it's not really the place. So yeah, that's my overall opinion, and it kind of just makes weird things with that. But it's not terrible, it's just kind of not for Ninja in my opinion. But then but anyway, then we had to fast forward with Isaiah Thomas and Annabella Heinrichs, and Isaiah won. That was a pretty easy win for Isaiah, so that's good. Then they had Enzo Wilson versus Sean Bryan. The first of the same gender matches. All the previous ones were boy versus girl, or man versus woman, or whatever you want to call it, because most of these people are younger than me now. But yeah, Enzo Wilson versus Sean Bryan. Enzo linked the swinging frames, so that was a very good time saver. But then he lost some time on the next obstacle because he was spinning around on the pole grasper. He was spinning around the first pole a couple times. It looked like a fireman going down the pole, but he was able to get through it nonetheless. He just had a little slowdown there. He had another slowdown on the floating monkey bars because he dropped one of the bars. So he had this thing where he had one bar and he had to go across. And he actually did lachey it across from one to the next I don't know why I'm doing the moves. But he basically shaded the bar from one to the next, like the flying bar transition, which is impressive. And at the end of the run, he told Matt Knockbar that he's trained that in the gym before. By coincidence, he's had that skill set because he practiced it in advance. So that worked out well for him. His emergency training paid off, I guess, because it came up in real life. So that's good. And I guess if you have the flying bar ability, you can also do that kind of. So he's probably pretty comfortable doing it. But still, like a lot tougher when you have one bar. And he made the jump and he dismounted early. He made it through and he won the race. So good for Enzo. Very good adaptability on this run. Good. He did some good time saving stuff and some good like adapting to his environment or his circumstances. So he did very well there. I'm happy for him and he deserved that win. Although I like Sean Bryan too, but Enzo did well there. Then they had Elijah Browning versus Jonathan Godbout. Two of like the OG Ninja kids, I guess, from like season 15 or whatever, because I think they were both on that one. No, season 13. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of all these seasons. Season 13. But either way, it was Elijah versus Jonathan, and Browning got ahead and won. And then Eisman said something because Jonathan was on. Elijah Browning was on the piston plunge. He was in the middle of the obstacle, and Jonathan Browning was still waiting before it. So the only way that the only way that Jonathan could win was if Elijah fell, essentially, or if he just went really slow. But basically, he needed Elijah to fall to win. So then Matt said something that kind of proves like the issue with this format, because Matt said he has to pray for a fall. He said that Jonathan has to pray for Elijah to fall, which, like I said before, it kind of means that you're rooting against your competitor, and everyone's got to do it no matter what. Like I said, like it's just an aspect of competition. But when you set up this competition this way, it kind of provokes that. So that kind of exposed one of the issues with this format when he said pray for a fall, because like it's true, you kind of have to hope your opponent falls, but it's kind of against the ninja spirit in my mind, at least the original ninja spirit. So that's kind of, that line was like, oh boy, you know. So he's over here like, yo, please fall, please fall. I look like I'm about to go to church, but he's like, yo, please fall, don't make it. And I mean, he wasn't, but you know, that's what they characterized the situation as, and you know, he probably was in his head. But Elijah won it, so good for him. I like them both, but Elijah did well there. And yeah, but that line was like, you know, like come on now, you know better than that, Matt. I mean, it's true, but anyway. Then they had a fast forward of Caitlin Bergstrom versus Luke Beckstrand. I was confused the name Bergstrom and Beckstrand because they're like two B last names of like big ninja families, so it's kind of confusing. I think the host has said that before as well. But Luke won. Luke beat Caitlin, so he won the race. Then they had Taylor Green versus Janique Levette. I did not put the result on this paper because I forgot to, but I know that Taylor won because I remember it. She got a second win, so now she's up 2-0. So good for Taylor. Like I said, she's in a very good streak this season, a very good position. So I'm happy for her. She's doing very well. Oh, I don't know why. I feel like I need to take a breath now because I feel like I've just been like going in like just an endless. I'm sure everyone's happy too because I was talking so much, but it's just like I'm trying to get this not to be too long, but then I'm talking like I'm doing an auction at the same time, like I'm doing all that. So I don't know what the answer is. Probably it's not do these reviews anymore because I'm bad at them, but I don't know. But then they had a fast forward of Sean Bryan and Annabella Heinrichs. And Sean Bryan had fingertip save, I believe, on the piston plunge. I can't remember what because it's been a week. Because like I said, I watched this last week with my grandma. But Sean Bryan won, and Annabella lost. So he got a win there. And I guess he's 1-1 now because he lost the first race, I believe. Yeah, he did. So then they had Enzo Wilson. The first story of the day, I believe, was Enzo Wilson's like profile piece. And they talked about Emily Gardner, who's like his new girlfriend. How they like match each other's like energy or whatever. So that's good, I guess. That's, I believe, the first profile piece of the day, because this episode was very light on profile pieces. That's one thing I like about this one, that there's very little like human interest stuff. I'm sure my grandma was disappointed, but I was very happy because I hate all the human interest junk that they do. I mean, some of it's good, you know, like this story was fine, but like they do a lot of stuff where it's like half the episode is just like, oh, you know, I broke my leg 5 years ago, and now last year my cat died. You know, stuff that doesn't even mean anything. This season's been better with it, but most of the stories have related to Ninja, which I've appreciated. But even then, like, there's a lot of stories. So I appreciate this episode was very, like, not down to business, all business. So I like that, even though the story was fine. Like, I don't mind a couple stories, but overall, I'm happy that they kind of just, like, cut to the chase with this one. So that's good. So it's Enzo Wilson with that story versus Isaiah Thomas, who they didn't give him a story. They went straight to his run. Sorry, Isaiah. But they did the run, and Isaiah won. He cleared at 46 seconds, so I'm not sorry about that. That was very good. And they said Enzo cleared too. They said he could advance by time, so he had the potential to move on as well on that like fastest third place thing that they do. So a very good run for both of them, and Isaiah did well there. Then they had RJ Roman versus Naxa Gilmore. So two of the people that lost the first race, they even characterized the 0 versus 1 race. So neither of them are in a great spot. It's not like now, I mean, it's not like a do or die thing, but it's definitely not a favorable position for them because they're both behind and they're both very good competitors. So this is kind of like unexpected for them, I'm guessing. But they both had a good race. But RJ lost the very last jump from the piston to the wheel. I was so sad because I was hoping, probably if I was rooting for anyone this season, in all honesty, it's probably RJ, just because he's been so cool to me and so down to earth and cool and just supporting me in all my stuff I do. RJ and Flip are like the two that I'm like, like I like everyone on the show basically, but except for the people that just come on to get, to do crazy stupid tricks. But I like most of the people on the show, but like I really like them. I always root for them. Like I feel like they're very legitimate people, as is everyone on the show basically. I think they're all very like legit. But I really like RJ and Flip. Just meeting them in person, they're very cool, and I always pull for them. But unfortunately, this isn't their season. Flip fell very early, and RJ, as I'm about to say, as I already said, he lost the last jump, so he's 0-2 now. I don't think he's out at this point, but he's 0-2, so it's very, very not promising for him. But then that didn't really require it. But after that, they had a fast forward with Luke Bergstrand versus Jonathan Godbout. They had Luke fell on the frames, which is really surprising. Just like when Naxa fell on the frames in the second race, this is a very surprising fall. I think people try to rush the frames and like connect them or link them from jump to jump. But when you do that, especially in a racing format where it's high pressure, you can make an easy mistake, as these people did. So Luke fell on the frames and Jonathan won. Then they had Caitlin Bergstrom versus Elijah Browning. I didn't write it down, but I believe Elijah won. I'm like pretty sure on that Elijah won. But then they had Enzo versus Abba Heinrichs, and Enzo won. Those three were all fast forwards. That was a whole fast forward segment. So I was like typing really quickly to get all the info done on my phone, which I type it on my phone, then I write it on this piece of paper down here, which I don't know why I type it up and then write it. That's pretty inefficient, but I'm kind of self-conscious about writing it all while I'm watching because my parents and family will be like, what are you writing? So I type it on my phone and then I write it down on this sheet here. I don't know. As I said, these reviews are probably gonna end after this year. Actually, they almost certainly are because I don't like doing them. So, yeah. But anyway, it's like a very long process. I'm typing quickly and it's just like, why am I doing this? But yeah, those races were good, I guess. I don't know, because I was mainly just looking at my phone typing while they were going. But then they had Sean Bryan versus Isaiah Thomas. Sean Bryan lost and was eliminated. Isaiah Thomas won, obviously. So that's unfortunate for Sean. I'm sad for him, but he had a good season up to this point. The races didn't really work out in his favor, but he did well this season overall. So unfortunately, I ended here. But the races, like I said, are kind of a wild card. I think he would have done better on like a standard course, but it happened to everyone. So it's just how it is now. And next season, because they put out info on next season, it's gonna be more of the same. I think even more racing. So yeah, I'm definitely not watching. I mean, maybe I'll watch it, but I'm definitely not reviewing that one because it's just like reviewing this is a nightmare because it's just so much like all these names, all these races. There's like a million races, and I can't really remember most of these races. And I remember stuff from them, but I can't really remember. Like I couldn't say like the specifics of the races, which is kind of bad for reviewing them. So yeah, this reviewing has gone even worse with these races. But anyway, point being, Sean Bryan's eliminated. Back to that. But then we had Luke Bergstrand versus Elijah Browning. Luke won. Elijah could still move on, though they specified. So Luke did very well here. Despite not doing well on this previous race on swinging frames, he did well on this one and won. So there's a lot of people in that bracket. Luke and Elijah are both kind of like having good and bad races so far. So yeah. Then they had a fast forward of Jonathan Godbout. They said, I didn't write down the race, but they said that he lost out due to time. So there were 3 people with the same score, which I wrote down 3-1, but it must have been 2-1 because there's only 3 races per person. So it must have been 2-1, but all 3 of them had a 2-1 score. So this is one instance where it came down to time. So the fastest 2 clears were the other 2, and Jonathan had the slowest of the 3 clearing times. So that's a tiebreaker that he's out. But he's, I believe, still in the running for like the overall fastest 3rd place time, even though he's not on the fastest from his group. So yeah, that's kind of a consolation of going fast, but not fast enough to win his heat. Because that's a pretty competitive group with 3 2-1 scores. I guess that means that the 4th person didn't win any races, I'm guessing. Yeah, it must. Yeah, it does mean that, statistically speaking. But yeah, it's tough. So 3 2-1 scores basically means that one person's gonna lose out just based on their time. So unfortunately for Jonathan, it's him. So that's a shame, but it has to happen to someone. So yeah. But I believe he's at this point he was still in the running to get like the fastest 3rd place overall. But maybe not. If he's the bottom of those 3 people, maybe he actually couldn't move on at that point because he probably has slow clear time. if the 2 other people beat him. So I don't know. There's too much to keep track of, guys. As you can tell, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, then we had Naxa versus Taylor Green. Naxa won and guaranteed to move on. Taylor Green was still in pretty good position at this point because she won the first 2 races, but Naxa's guaranteed to move on now. Now we jump over to the next course, which is kind of a jarring thing mid-episode. They're like, oh, we're gonna go to the next course now. It's like, sure, I guess. You know, because at that point, it's like, I think it was a little bit over halfway over, so I was expecting that they just do 1 course this week. And I was hoping for another course next week, like a different course, but I was not thinking that they do a new course in the middle of the episode, but they did it. So the new course still starts with the stringing steps. Fine. Then we have I knew this. I was writing this down. I was like, oh, there's no need to write down the course because I remember it, but now I can't think of the second obstacle. The second obstacle changed. It's a double steps, duh. It's a double steps in a very similar format to how they were in like the early seasons. We have to go up, and there's the kind of like a bigger step in the middle. Then you keep going up, then you go down. There's no missing steps or drop steps or anything like they've had in the past. It's just a very like the original format of the obstacle from ANW 4, which I respect. It's a pretty time-consuming obstacle compared to the swinging frames, but it works. It's different. It's a different course, so it doesn't really matter if it's harder or easier or anything, because you know everyone has the same course that they're competing on, the same course. So if the two courses are different, it's fine as long as the people that are in the same heat have the same course, which they obviously do. So I don't mind that it's a different type of obstacle, even though it's kind of weird. Then the third obstacle is the green jump, which is also a lot harder than the pole grasper in my opinion. So I think this course is kind of OP because the 2 different obstacles are both harder, I believe, and definitely longer than the original versions from the first course. So it's kind of a weird thing. We have like a much longer course, at least I feel that way, compared to the first one. I don't care because as long as it's like it kind of mixes it up, it's better than having the same course throughout because it makes it more interesting to watch and it mixes up the obstacle lineup. But it's kind of weird that both of them, I think they could have mixed and matched it, like say the swinging frames and ring jump on one course, and then the devil steps and pole grasper on the other course to be more like even for the courses. But it doesn't really matter. It's what it is. But yeah, that's the thing I noticed. Then you saw the 7 ladder, the floating monkey bars, and the piston plunge. So that's the course. Then we have the first race on this course for Kaylin Bergstrom versus Ashton Myler, who's like the ninja kid, the famous YouTube channel for ninja. I mean, he is well known, but this is a pretty competitive race because they're both very good. But Myler hit the bar hold. He tried to dismount the floating monkey bars early, and he like hit the bar holder with his shoulder, I believe, and he barely made it to the platform. But he also kind of hit the thing on the process, which probably hurt. But he made it through. But then he failed the piston plunge, unfortunately, leading to Kaylin Bergstrom winning. So another win for the Bergstroms. Then we have Luke Dillon versus Paxton Myler, which is Ashton Myler's brother, and another of the Ninja Kid YouTube people that they were really hyping up earlier. Like, I don't mind them, they're fine, but I feel like they're kind of like, not say overhyped, but like I feel like this season they got a lot of coverage for like, they've been doing very well, obviously. I believe they're like top seeds for like pretty high up in the seeding order because they both did well in definitely in the qualifying, and I believe in the semifinals, Ashton was pretty fast. But still one of those things where it's like, I feel like they're kind of overrepresented compared to other people that get fast forwarded every time. So it's kind of like, you know, they're good, but I think they're kind of overhyped. In this episode, unfortunately, Paxton also lost. So another win for, well, Luke Dillon won, and Paxton lost. So another loss for the Ninja Kids, unfortunately. Again, like, I like them, but it's just one of those things where it feels kind of like they're getting too much coverage just because it's how many people are on the show. It feels like they're getting too much of the spotlight. But it is what it is. But yeah, so Luke Dillon won that one. Then they fast forward Jason Graff versus Jackson Ertles, who's the winner of season 3 of Ninja Warrior Jr., which I did not watch, but they said that in this episode. So Jackson won the race, and they both cleared, but Jackson won the race. So I guess Jason Graff could move on based on his clear time. I don't know if it was fast because I didn't write it down, but he could in theory move on based on his clear time because he finished, and it's very early on in this course. So he could be the 3rd place wild card, at least in theory. Then they had Christian Hart versus Kenzie Hughes, which was also fast forward. The Jason Graff versus Jackson Erdos was a fast forward, and Christian Hart versus Kenzie Hughes also is. Christian won that race. That was on the shoulder of the fast forward. Then they had Nicholas Coolidge versus Austin Barham, which is another fast forward. I didn't write down who won, but I believe it was Austin. I have a feeling it was Austin if I remember correctly. But then we had Caden Lebsack, who they had a story on him, like another kind of not longer story, but like one of the only like profile pieces of this episode was Caden Lebsack, and they talked about how he built a gym and his family kind of invested in him, and he's like very dedicated to keeping the gym in good shape and putting all his work into it because his family helped him like helped him with his get to his like dreams, I guess you could say. So that's good. That's a good story, and again, it relates to Ninja, so I don't mind it. So good for Caden for having like a consistent passion. I respect that, and being able to carry through with it. I really respect that story. And they have also Hunter Ogden, who I like as well. So I like both the people in this races. I've known Caden for a while, or I've been watching him do like stuff on Instagram for a while, because he's been very good for a long time. And Hunter, I learned about this year, but I also really like him. So I'm very this race I was very rooting for both of them. But Caden won that one, which is kind of what I expected. But they're both very good ninjas, so they both have a we in the future. Then we have fast forward of Luke Dillon versus Caleb Bergstrom. Wait, I'm confused because was that the only run in that segment? Because we just had fast forwards before. I don't know. I forget what I'm writing here, guys. I guess because there's a profile piece, maybe that was only run in the segment, because the profile pieces make the segment longer, obviously. So I guess that was only run. But it's weird because I had so many fast forwards, and now I have more fast forwards, so it feels weird. I cannot remember the details of this, guys. I'm too tired. Too many races. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm just doing this on fumes even. But anyway, we have more fast forwards with Luke Dillon versus Caleb Bergstrom. Bergstrom won, and Luke failed the salmon ladder, which it happens, like I said in the intro, it kind of happens when you're rushing more. So I think he definitely could have done it, but I think just the rushing got to him, and he maybe tried to make a too big of a move, and he lost because of it. It's a trade-off of racing and trying to go fast. It happens. Usually I say that people are kind of dumb for going fast, but in this case you kind of have to go fast to win, at least when it's a competitive race. So you know that you can't judge, it just happens no matter what, and you have to go fast. So happens to the best of us, except for me, because I went to a salmon ladder, but I wish I could. But then they have Paxton versus Ashton, which is the two ninja kids going head to head. The two remaining ninja kids going head to head in a race, which is cool. And Matt and Akbar said that one of the ninja kids will definitely win and get their first win today, because it's both of them competing. And Jack and Ashton won there, which I kind of expected, because he's been doing better this season. I feel like they both did very well, but I feel like Ashton's like the dominant ninja kid and kind of the primary one that they focus on. So I'm not surprised they won. So yeah, so good for Ashton. Then they had Christian Hart versus Jackson Ertles. Jackson won, putting him up 2-0 or 3-0. I don't know. I think 2-0 at this point, because he won. Yeah, he's later on. So he at this point he was up 2-0, and Christian Hart lost, unfortunately. Then they had fast forward James McGrath versus Kenzie Hughes. James won that one. Then they had Austin Barron versus Hunter Ogden. Austin won that one. Hunter failed on the steps because he grabbed the rope, but I believe he skimmed the water, and then he fell down the ramp. So unfortunately, that did not work out for him, and he has another loss. I'm sad about that because I like him, but I also like everyone in that bracket. So someone has to go home. But I'm sad it's him. But I'm sure he'll be back in the future. Then they had Nicholas Coolidge versus Caden Lebsack. Caden won, which I kind of expected, because Caden, they're both very good, but Caden has that edge, and he's one of the best competitors these days. So I kind of expected him to win, and he did. So yeah. Then they had Ashton Myler versus Luke Dillon. Luke won, and Ashton was officially eliminated, which is unfortunate. But like I said before, he got his spotlight in qualifying, so at least he got his he got some good coverage this season. And I'm sure he'll be back in the future. So yeah. Then they fast forward Jackson Ertles versus Kenzie Hughes, and Jackson won, so now he's up 3-0, which is a very good score, the best you can ask for in this stage. So he won, and Kenzie is officially out at this point. So that's unfortunate, but like I said before, it has to happen in this format. So it's unfortunate, but let me catch my breath before I say it. It's an inevitability. It's an inevitability. I talk too fast to say words like that. It just doesn't work apparently. But yeah, it's inevitable that someone's gonna get out. So unfortunately, it's Kenzie and a few others today, but it happens. And then they have James McGrath versus Christian Hart. Christian won, which I'm happy for him, because he lost a couple, I believe, or he definitely lost one of his races. Let me see. He has lost one of his races, but still, he lost the previous race, so I'm glad he won this one. I'm sad for James McGrath because he got out on this, unfortunately, but he's had a very good run. I'm sure he'll be back if he wants to, because he has a very good resume for a show. So I'm sure he'll be around in the future, even though I'm sad that he's out now because he's one of the OGs. But yeah, and I appreciate that when Christian won, he started a chant for James McGrath, even though James fell. That was nice of him. That was good sportsmanship, so I respect that. So yeah, that's good. And what's even better is the fact that this episode's over, and I'm done with this stupid review, because this review is just I know no one likes it, but for me, also having to talk is a lot, and I know everyone has to listen to me too, so I'm sure that's great. But yeah, I've basically been looking down the whole time, because I've just been reading off the sheet without saying much, which is kind of another thing. I'm not too like I said before, I'm not like too interested in this racing, so I'm kind of just reading it. I'm basically here to fulfill the season before I stop doing this, because I don't want to stop mid-season because that's stupid to like quit on it. But I'm also just like, I like it, but I don't really want to review it. So I'm kind of just here. And I like to be able to throw my 2 cents on the show and say like my analysis and opinions, but it's not worth all this like effort of writing it down and reading it. It's just a lot. But yeah, basically this episode was very much just me reading off the sheet, unfortunately. And I gave the first 10 minutes I gave my thoughts, but then I kind of just read the info. So it happens, I guess. But yeah, I don't know, guys. This has been an exhausting review. Yeah, I've just been like, I don't know. This episode's been fine, but there's nothing too special about it. It's different, but I don't like it as much, unfortunately, and I don't like the effect it has on the show. So unfortunately, it's kind of a net negative for me. Even though it's not as bad as I thought, like I said, like I set my expectations very low, and it surpassed my low expectations a little bit. So we're like, here's my analysis of that, or my representation of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot, and like it's not my style. I tried to turn on the fan and I accidentally. Alright, I need to. That's too much. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, guys. I'm just kind of barely getting through it with this review. But at least to 2 more episodes, so I can just be done with it after this. But yeah, I'll probably watch next season, but not review it. That's my best bet. Because like I don't mind watching it. It's better than most things on TV still, but I don't really want to review it too much. So yeah. But I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as you can. I don't know what there was to enjoy because it was very basic and just me saying the results. So yeah, I don't know. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And until next week and until obstacle of the week, I will see you